It's important, and guys understand it's important for themselves because guys they're transitioning from, and now we're live. So everybody, hi, I'm live with Chandler Weeks, and what tell us about your company and how long they've been going on.
So my company's name is Provision Health Insurance. My business partner is the Healthy Insurance Dude. He has been in business for about 3 years now, helping people with health insurance, and I work alongside him, helping hundreds of people a day save money on their health insurance and get coverage that they actually need. So our whole thing is we aren't here to sell you; we're here to make sure you don't get sold. So that's what we do.
That's awesome. So we're going to talk about basically as usual any of the questions you have, and so if you guys have any questions, just pop them in the comments. I'm sharing this. This is also live on YouTube, and I've already got 6 people on here. And so you guys insure like you're used to insuring small businesses, so anywhere from like 1 to 50 employees, which is the definition of a small business, right?
Yes. So that's kind of the sweet spot for what we do. Traditionally, people, small businesses especially, they think that their only option for insurance is a small group plan. But the thing is, those prices, they come in real low. And then after a year or two of having that group plan, once people in your company start racking up claims, the prices skyrocket for everybody. Whereas it's actually a lot more cost effective for small businesses to go the individual route and get everybody individual policies. So that's the route that we tend to go with small businesses and usually help save them a lot of money. I think it's 9 times out of 10, I can help small businesses save money. There's the one time where a small business somehow just has these incredibly low prices, but 9 times out of 10, we're looking at saving money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you always run into that issue where somebody gets a rate from somebody local and that they crush it, but
Yeah.
you know that's good. That's good for them, Mr.
Yeah, it is.
President. Good afternoon. All right, hey, so here we go. Here's a good example, and I already know who this is because he always calls me Mr. President. Michael Kernan. Hey, do me a favor and click the StreamYard.com/Facebook thing so you can, so I can see who it is. Like when we ask the comment or when I pop it up. So I know who it is, but that's because I got to go look at Facebook. So say that you're going like what's the entry level health insurance for 3 employees, like a ballpark? Obviously, we don't even know what state, age, and all that matters. There's
Yeah.
prereqs. Like I get it. I get it. But like, what's the ballpark? Like, say they're all in good health and no one like smokes a pack a day and they haven't had like a billion broken bones and whatever.
Yeah.
Optimal genetic condition
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, so the general ballpark, and once again, I know it's for 3 employees. Basically, add a zero to your age, and that's about the average monthly premium you're looking at for health insurance. So, however old your 3 employees are, add a zero to that, and that's probably the average monthly premium that you're looking at. And like I was saying, the best thing to do is split it up into individual policies. So, when you do that, you can run it through the company bank account, still get that full tax deduction, the same benefit that a traditional group plan gives. Run it through that bank account, still get that full tax deduction, and then just do a pre-tax deduction from their pay. So sometimes they might even end up in a lower tax bracket, which benefits them as well.
So run that by me again. I'm sorry. I was they need to run it through the company or through themselves.
So the best way to do it is to still run it through the company's account. So the company still gets that full tax deduction of providing benefits.
Right.
And then,
So is
go
it
ahead.
just real quick? So say that like I have an employee that's 23 and her insurance is 230 a month. What level of insurance would that be? Just this is an example. This is hypothetical. He's not offering quotes here, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So the plans that I work with are nationwide PPO network plans. So they're actually the best plans in the country. You have to be healthy enough to get them. Now
Right.
we do have options for people who don't meet those qualifications, but that 230 a month for that 23-year-old, you're looking at plans that are going to keep them safe everywhere, and they're quite literally the best plans in the country.
Awesome. That's awesome. We're definitely going to talk after this because like I want to get quotes for my employees. Like I said, like being like competitive in pricing with good good coverage is crucial.
Yeah.
Like I said, like we've already talked, that everything in this industry revolves around price and value, and it's about us as business owners looking for price and value, but also offering price and value. And it's like you're not gonna get health insurance 99.com insurance is not gonna hook you up, but
Yeah.
if you go with somebody that that offers like this is a national plan. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Here's a good
Well,
question.
here, real quick, Heath, one huge benefit that is offered to the employers. So traditional group plan, you minimum have to require 50%. You have to contribute 50% of the premiums on a traditional group plan. By splitting it up individually, you can contribute however much you want per person. So let's say somebody's an entry level hire and you just want to contribute $100 a month, you can. If there's somebody in your company that you're like, I want their benefits to be better because they play a more vital role in my company, you can provide more to their insurance. So it allows you to
Individual.
customize your benefits as well.
And so like you could pay all of their health insurance.
Yep.
That makes sense. Let's see. So real quick, Jairus asked, what are the estimated deductibles and max out of pocket? Now that depends on the plan you select, right?
Yes. So that totally depends on the plan. However, there are two plans that I work most closely with. There's one that I consider to be the cost saver. It's an upgradable plan. On that one, after you upgrade it, you have a $4,000 deductible and it covers 100% after that. But let's say you're on the more traditional plan. On that one, depending on how it's built, another cool part about these plans is if you're healthy enough to qualify, they're also customizable. So when you want them, you can kind of customize it to what best fits you. So there's options of a $5,000 deductible, 7,500, and 10,000, and then the max out of pockets depend on what the co-insurance is. But that's all a bunch of insurance jargon. But basically, it's you can customize the plan the way that you want it and what best fits your budget. So I had somebody the other day. He's already doing just fine, and he was like, "Give me a 10K deductible and 20K max out of pocket." And I was able to do that for him. And then there's other people who are more afraid of, God forbid something big happen, and I can lower their deductible and max out of pocket on that as well.
All right, Justin Hampton's asking, what about family plans for myself or employees, like if they have families?
Yes. So basically the way that it would work is we work with individuals, families, small businesses, and let's say you wanted to provide it as a benefit to them. It would still, the most beneficial thing for your business would be run it through your account and then just do a pre-tax deduction from their payroll. So they might end up in a lower tax bracket as well while you still receive that full deduction. But when it comes to families, it all just depends, ages of the family and things like that. But the best part is the plan that I like the most, that I like to help people get on, is guaranteed renewable till 65. So once you're in, your age is actually locked in on that plan. So right now when you go and renew every year, your price automatically goes up every year because last year you were 40, this year you're 41, the next year you're 42, and it continues to go up every year you renew. Whereas one of my favorite plans, you're guaranteed renewable till 65. So if you get in at 30, you're forever 30 on that plan.
Nice. And I wanted to throw the website up there. What's the website for you guys? People can go to?
Yes. So I sent you the link to my
The
business
Facebook?
partner. Yes, the Healthy Insurance Dude. I sent you that. That's my business partner. You're more than welcome, anybody on this right now, to go look at all the reviews just to, give you confidence. That's the business we do and how we treat people. But if you want to reach me personally, I'm sure we can throw my number up on there, because when you go through the Healthy Insurance Dude, you don't come directly to me. It's a team of 50 people that help anyone and everyone. But if you want to come directly to me, we can throw my information out in the group after this.
Yeah, we can put it on the post. And that what I want is, so the easiest way for people to get a quote, I think most people would think a website, but they can go to the Facebook group and get a quote.
So the way that works, if you go through the Healthy Insurance Dude page, is you get in contact with them and then they assign you an agent that I work with. It's a lot
Makes
better.
sense. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no. I'm fine with it. I just want to be clear on if anybody curious, that's what they should do. Is they
yeah.
should go.
Well,
I put the link in the chat. I'll put it on the top of our thing, and if you're cool with this, I'll put this on YouTube, and I'll put the link in the YouTube channel too. So guys that hit it later can say, this is where I need to go, to go talk to somebody, and
absolutely.
makes
Well,
perfect sense.
yeah, what I'll do is I'll send you a link to my to my scheduler so people can just book directly with me.
Awesome. 220 a month with or without healthcare credit, and that was who is Cameron
Health.
Keith. I'm not sure what healthcare credit is.
I'm actually not entirely sure what healthcare credit is, and 220 a month with or without healthcare credit.
Um,
I'm a little confused what that question means.
yeah, we'll get. Wait, hey, let us know what healthcare credit is so he'll answer your question. The context doesn't make sense. At what point does an employer pay ends better than Obamacare?
At what point does an employer?
Insurance plan, yeah.
So Obamacare, politics aside, I don't like to get into politics. Obamacare did a really great thing and a really bad thing. The great thing that it did is allowed people with pre-existing conditions to get insurance. The bad thing is because everybody with pre-existing conditions can now get insurance, the prices skyrocketed because the risk pool increased. So that's why Obamacare is so expensive nowadays. The big thing about employer insurance that's better than Obamacare is employer insurance plans usually offer a PPO option, whereas in most states, Obamacare does not have a PPO option available to them. And that's really important because we don't buy health insurance to, get a doctor visit, get our yearly well visit. We have health insurance for if the big what if happens. Do I get to choose my surgeon? Do I get to choose the person who's going to be saving my life? And having
There he
PPO
goes.
is really important for that.
Yeah, he was saying he's driving. Sorry, he got Obamacare. The premium is 500, but he was able to take the 300 credit per month. So my premium is only 200.
Yes. So Obamacare, that goes based off of your income. So based off your income, you may get a tax credit to what they call subsidies to make your insurance more affordable. So for instance, I could say that I'm going to claim $30K at the end of the year and potentially qualify for free insurance. But if I say I'm going to make $150K, I'm probably going to be paying full price for an HMO or EPO plan.
Makes sense. So, how long have you been doing this? Just out of curiosity, I mean, not relevant.
But... Yeah, I've been doing this for 6 months, and my business partner has been doing it for 3 years now.
What brought you into this field? Just you met him, or you were like, hey, I'm looking for a change?
Yeah, what happened actually was, growing up, in a cul-de-sac, I have a neighbor to my right, neighbor to my left. Both neighbors ended up getting divorced, and the women in the divorce ended up losing their health insurance. Coincidentally, at both times when they lost their health insurance, they were both diagnosed with cancer. So they're diagnosed with cancer, no health insurance, which means they're responsible for hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of bills. And that's what made me passionate about health insurance and making sure people didn't get sold and made sure they had coverage. Because, let's be real. Nobody wants to pay a couple $100s a month for a what if something happens. Everybody would rather put that money aside. I'd rather put that money aside. But I've seen from my own experience, people without coverage end up losing everything because they rack up hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills. Because we can get into a little bit more later, but the healthcare industry is extremely screwed up. If let's say,
oh, you think? Yes.
Only industry in the country where you show up to something and they don't tell you how much it's going to cost until once they're done. So, for instance, you could go in for a sick visit and I could go in for a sick visit, but my doctor thinks he has the Midas touch and I pay $150 more for that sick visit. I think that's pretty corrupt and wrong. I think they should have a set price, but healthcare is healthcare.
It's the most profitable industry in the world, and if you rock the boat, it won't go well.
That's very true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
So, Justin's got a question about, do you guys do dental as well?
Yes, we do dental and vision as well.
Dental and vision. So there you go. So that's what those are the things that and if you see me, I'm taking notes because I like to try and, the really pertinent info I like to put in the title. So, if guys are scrolling through, they may not be like, man, I'm not going to watch this 50-minute live or however long it was. But then they see, bam, and like I'll put this in the announcements because I view these are like vital things that are very tertiary in our industry. Everybody's here like, how do I clean concrete? How do I do this? How do I unscrew this up? It's like, well, you turn back time, bro. But turn the earth backwards. Superman did it. So, but this is like very, just like our general liability, it's like a must. But like, we're about to get to the next question. Is like, these are the things that are super important and they matter to people that have 6-figure jobs, that have great health coverage, but they want to transition to, self-employed. And then that opens up this whole new world of things that you're now responsible for. For yourself, your wife, your kids, and then not only that, but like your employees, their wives, their kids. Like, you want to do the right thing. Flash can travel through time as well. You're right, Justin. You can. Just want to throw that out there. Also, can travel through time. But so this is a follow-on question about the Obamacare. He says, I asked because my employee is going to be hourly. His yearly income will qualify for tax credit, so Obamacare insurance would probably be cheaper than if I provided it and he took the write-off. That's possible.
Yes. So one thing is, if you are an employer that offers health insurance to your employees, they technically do not qualify for a tax credit. So to qualify for a tax credit, you have to be under a certain amount of income. And then on top of that, you can't have an employer option available to you. However, if you break it up individually, you technically don't offer a traditional group plan, so they may still have that benefit available to them depending on the state.
That makes sense. So, and what you gave us like I think your answer ballpark, because this is, like these are exact things that apply to each person, but like your ballpark answer was add a 0 to their age. So
Yes.
ballpark, like what's adding dental and or vision to a plan? Like, is that equal or?
I would tell you all, as business owners, individuals, families, dental insurance, I never recommend to anybody. So if you're only going in to the dentist once or twice a year for your yearly cleaning, dental insurance is not worth the price whatsoever. Now, let's say you are prone to cavities and you probably get a filling or two every other year and you may need some major dental work done, then it might be worth the price. But besides that, I always tell everybody, if you can set the money aside, just set the money aside. You're better just going out of pocket for your 2 cleanings.
And they will give you better deals for cash anyway, like, or whatever. Like,
yes.
They prefer not having to deal with insurance because it's a hassle and it's like a net pay. It's not quick. I'll give you an example. I don't know about vision eye care, but like I had an employee get some bleach in her eye. We put the eye wash kit on her eye right away, and I said, hey, let's take you to the eye doctor. And she's like, no. I was like, no, I got it. And I didn't. I walked in. I was like, here's my card. Check her out. And they came back and they were like, the eye wash kit was crucial. That was the right move. It saved her from having any damage. You did the right thing. We gave her some eye drops. You're good to go. And the visit was like $140. Now, that's only happened once in a year. Like, it's the same thing as dental. It's like, if you know that, you're willing to pay like $60 to $100 for once or twice a year, that's definitely cheaper than getting the insurance.
Yeah, no, for sure. Dental insurance, I'm on the guaranteed renewable till 65 plan because I locked in a price at the age of 22, and now until I'm 65, I'm going to be in that general ballpark, and my age on the plan is going to be 22. And I don't pay for dental insurance because it's just, if you do the math and crunch the numbers, it's usually not worth the price unless if you're somebody who chronically needs dental work done.
So, I'm sorry. Was it? What's the threshold? Yeah. So back to the Obamacare, like what's the threshold? Like, I'm sorry, man, I don't know.
It depends state by state. So every state has different regulations. Health insurance is regulated on a state by state basis. So it state to state, that's how it goes. How about pre-existing conditions? For almost 10 years, I couldn't get coverage or follow-ups for an orthopedic surgery without paying for everything out of pocket. So there are only 3 types of plans that will cover your pre-existing conditions and make sure you stay safe. There's the underwritten plans that I work with, and those obviously you have to go into it without any major pre-existing conditions. And let's say something comes up and becomes a chronic condition, you will have coverage. Now, let's say you go into the ACA Marketplace, like I was saying before, the ACA/Obamacare Marketplace. The great thing that it did is it said, hey, we will cover people with pre-existing conditions and make sure they get coverage for it. And then there's traditional employer plans. So that's the one benefit of having a traditional group employer plan is they accept people with pre-existing conditions and cover them for it. The only downside to it is on the employer side, when one person starts having claims, the prices go up for everyone.
Makes sense. So I think we're caught up. Sometimes it's so funny. Sometimes I do these lives and like we get to talking, and I'll look over. I'm like, like 60 questions behind. I'm like, like
Yeah.
because like I always like it. My favorite thing about the lives is like I always learn something. Like I said, this is super useful. Like I'm gonna immediately turn around and be like, I need to consult. Like
Yeah.
I need to. You always should shop around with what you're doing, and you should just like you should shop your car insurance like once a year. You like
Absolutely.
check what's out there, and the difference is with this plan, like once you're locked in, there's risk if you change it.
Yeah.
Because like if you leave and you come back and you have conditions, you're like whoops. So like you don't want to like leave it. You can go shop around and then decide. Like those are some serious pros and cons. So like being locked in at a certain age is like a very very weighty thing as far as like money goes. Because like
Yeah. Well,
me trying to come in at 41.
the good way to think about it is you are not committed to the insurance company. They are committed to you.
Right, absolutely. And that's a rarity in
Yeah.
life when the company's committed to you. Like they're they're not gonna say, well, now that you're 61 you're out. They're
Yeah.
like, you're still
Well,
x number of years in our system.
yeah, exactly. Well, for instance, that guaranteed till 65 plan, which is obviously my favorite plan because it's one of the plans like that in the country. If I get in, let's say a 30-year-old gets in and they end up getting diagnosed with cancer and cost the insurance company $10 million a year till they turn 65. On that plan, the insurance company can't get rid of them. And on top of that, their price can only increase by 5% a year. Whereas on traditional group plans or Obamacare plans, they can legally go up by 20% a year.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a huge increase.
Yeah, my parents, their company, they received a 20% rate increase for their group plan. So everybody's rates in the company went up by 20% this past year.
During COVID.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, think about it this way too. For your small business, how many employees do you have? 6? Yeah. So you have 6 employees. One of those employees gets diagnosed, God forbid, with a critical illness and racks up $250,000 in cancer treatment. The prices for everyone are going up the next year.
Absolutely. Thankfully, 4 of us have permanent health coverage courtesy of TRICARE and the VA, which is it's beautiful because and beautiful. The sarcasm's heavy. Is that like I will go to pick up a prescription and they'll be like, hold on. It's like almost every time they fight with each other over who's supposed to pay for it. I'm like, guys, I don't care. So now my pharmacist at Walgreens, which is close to my house, she's just like, we got this. And they'll just like call somebody and be like, figure it out now. And then they're like, here's your medicine. And I'm like, I don't have a horse in the race. Like, I don't care who pays for it. And like one day the very first time this happened, I'm like, can I just pay for it? And she's like, I got this. And then she came back. She's like, it'll be $11. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna. my time is worth more than this. Like, this is insane. And so now that they've like understood that it's like me, that like almost always they'll call me and be like, "There's a problem," and then I'll just email my doctor. I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" Because I see a civilian doctor and I see a VA doctor, which is cool because those guys are like about it. Like I relay stuff to them, and they're like on board with things. Even though they don't talk, like because I'm talking to each of them, they were like, "Yeah, I like where he's going with this. Like, let's keep doing." Like they're not like he's an idiot. Like that would be stressful. Like you tell him, I'm like, "No, here's his number. I'm not telling him shit. Like
That's
you do it." Like
TRICARE is great coverage. I do know some people aren't a fan of the VA if they only have the VA, because sometimes it can take a while to get in to get done what you need. But TRICARE is great coverage.
Yeah, they just opened a new VA clinic by me, and because they're real bad. They have that new law that got passed where if you're more than like 10 minutes away via traffic, you don't have to drive and you can go to a civilian. And my VA that was 45 minutes away was like, "Yeah, we don't care about that." I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's the law, dude." And they were like, "Yeah, you have to come here, or we're gonna tell them that you're denying treatment." I'm like,
Yeah.
well, so it was like, okay, like I can adjudicate that, but like the effort, I'm like trying to run a company. I'm like, whatever. So I just drove out there. Well, they opened one that was 19 minutes away. So, I agree with you. The healthcare industry, whoo, like
So screwed up.
you want to see a world collapse, like solve all disease. Like they everything would collapse. Like insurance agencies would go bankrupt. Like everything it would be like worse than any meltdown we could possibly have if the healthcare industry was no longer needed because we figured out how to like boost the human immune system. Like, whew, this like next level, like be bad. Wait, here's a question. I need to quit dragging my feet on this. You absolutely need to quit dragging your feet on this because getting a quote is free.
Yeah, I'm literally we'll put up my scheduler so people can schedule an appointment with me. All I need is 15 minutes and I can give you a quote and all of the options that you have available to you.
There you go. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So I like it. That's like 3 quotes for me. It takes me about 5 minutes, unless they want to talk to me a long time about their life story, which sometimes is really cool. Like I've heard some really cool stuff, and
Yeah.
a
Well,
lot of the people that I work with are like close to me. Where are you guys based out of? Do you base out of a state? Not that it matters about your coverage, but
I am in Fort Worth, Texas, and then the plans that I work with can be sold in 31 states. And I don't
awesome.
the politics, but the states where they can't be sold are blue states, and that's because Obamacare said everybody gets insurance regardless of pre-existing conditions. This company said, we're still going to accept and decline people based off of their pre-existing conditions. So the blue states that are more healthcare for all, everybody should get all insurance. They usually don't allow these plans to be sold because they're like, this goes against Obamacare and what we believe in. But the plans still work in those states. Great, they just can't be sold there.
So Jeff Nickerson just jumped in and said, "Hey, where can I get info on the plans?" Jeff, I replied to your comment. It's a link to the Facebook group. Um, if you go there and book with them, they'll contact you and set you up with someone that will get your quote for you. That's how it works.
I just sent you a link, Heath, through the chat. That is my personal link. So when you go through that Facebook business page, you're going to get paired with an awesome agent, but it's not going to be me. There's 50 agents that work with my business partner. So if you want to go directly through me, I'm going to be the one involved in the group trying to help as many of you as possible. I just sent Heath a link. That's my direct
right now.
Yep, that's my direct scheduler. So you can book an appointment in there and I will contact you directly.
So it's in the comments, but go.oneshub.com/Chandler Weeks. It's in the comments. It'll be on top of the thing, the live when we're done. It'll also be on the YouTube. That's what's cool is like all this. That's why I started putting these on YouTube is like because if I don't pin them and I don't want to pin every single live, it's just a lot of pins. But when I don't pin them, they just like boop, because our group is already at 8,200 people and just keeps growing. It's like we're at like 300, sometimes 300 or 400 people a week, and
Wow.
the questions come fast and furious, and that's why I put them on YouTube, and guys can go reference them easily. Because if you look at one pin video, they're all that's on YouTube, and so they go back. Because like right now it's streaming to YouTube, so it'll record, and then it'll just be under the live section on my YouTube. So like if you ever want to point anybody at it, I'll shoot you the link too. Um,
Absolutely. So real quick, for anybody on the live stream or who watches this again, that Facebook page, use that as a source to go look at the thousands of reviews we have, just so you know the type of customer service that we give and how we treat people and how we're here to help, not to sell you. So use that page as that, and then that link he just posted to my calendar, use that to get in contact with me so I can reach out to you and work with you directly.
and also that's funny that you like look at our reviews, like that's branding. Like you're not just like, yeah, we got 5 Google reviews, we're legit. Like you're just like, no, it's we've done this for a minute.
The main thing is in our industry, and I don't like to talk bad about anybody, but health insurance agents have a bad rap because there are a lot of people out there that are just there to make a quick buck, and they will sell anybody any plan as long as it puts money in their pocket. The reason we've been so successful is because we said enough with that. We're not doing that anymore. We are going to help people get into the best plan for them, regardless if we make money off of it or not. We're going to show you your options and what's best for you. So that business page has thousands of 5-star reviews because people genuinely just want to be helped, and that's what we do. We're not here
and
to
they don't
sell.
feel ripped off, and they don't, because people that will never leave a review will light you up when you screw them over.
Yes.
So and everybody here, everybody watching knows it. Everybody that watches in the future knows it. Like you can deliver 5-star service, but to get someone to leave your review that says you delivered 5-star service is hard because people are busy and it takes time to like stop what you're doing, go leave a review, and not everybody's like, oh, I know what I want to say. They get there and they're looking at the screen, they're like, well, I don't want to say they did good because that sounds dumb. And then they're just like, I'll do it later. And then you just don't do it.
Absolutely.
Like, I get it. So, like, actually going and getting these reviews is the hardest thing. But, like, if you've got over 1,000 reviews on anything, you're crushing it. Like, Donkey Kong crushing it. Especially 3 years old and have thousands of reviews. I don't think my company will have over 1,000 reviews in 3 years. And I had 106 months. So, like smashing it to get that many reviews.
That's awesome. Yeah, our whole mission was to make sure people don't get sold and to genuinely help people get the best coverage for their needs. And because of that, people have been kind enough to leave us review after review after review. So that's what we use. Yeah, we're very open. Hey, go look at this business page. Here are all the reviews. You can see anything ever said about what we do at that business page. There's no smoke and mirrors like, hey, like, yeah, I have a great client base. Like, you should trust me too. Go look at that. And that's what it is.
See, Barb, you gotta go click the top of this live. There's a streamyard.com/Facebook for anybody not seeing their name like this. Like you gotta authorize it. So when I pose your question up here, we can see it. That way I don't have to go back. Let's see who is not listed. Jeff Nickerson is not listed. So same thing. We switched to StreamYard this like in the last like this is our 4th live with it, maybe 5th. And so we're trying to get everybody to switch over. That way, when I put their questions up, it's like, oh, we know who we're talking to. So, I just want to say congratulations on all the reviews. That's hard. Everybody here knows it. And, just like our industry, these are free estimates for insurance. Like, you should educate yourself with what's available because it could be more affordable than you think, and like, if to me, the difference between like ballpark, say it's $250 a month for the insurance, period. That's very affordable. That's like almost the bare minimum house wash. So just like wash an extra house 1 day a month to pay for insurance for yourself. If you got 5 kids, you're gonna have to wash 5 more houses, but that's your choice. Like I support it, but like to me, that is something that's very affordable to work into the budget because it's important. And, like I don't ever have to worry about health insurance, but I want all my employees to have access to it. And then, being a business owner, like I can't just like sign up for anything. Like I need to get a plan that gives them good coverage that's competitive, you know, pricing wise. It's like I don't want it to be cheap and not cover them, and then I'm just like check in the box, health insurance, but
Yep.
like I need them, like what if something bad happens? Like I need them to have coverage. Like we really try hard to be careful, but like here's a perfect example. One of your shirts, I didn't order extra, Justin. Um, so good example. One of my co-owners, not on a ladder, walking on the job yesterday, slipped on like the edge of like a flower bed piece of wood, the wood that kind of lines the flower bed sometimes.
Yeah.
It like came loose and he kicked it and it flipped out and it hit him in between both legs. So like he like scissored his legs, took himself out and on concrete, elbow on the concrete, called me and was like, I think I broke my elbow. I'm like, hey, I'm on the way. And this is my best friend 21 years. And, because I was like, how'd you fall? He's like, I was on the ground. I was like, oh, thank God this wasn't like off a ladder where I'm like, and luckily nothing was broken, no fracture, no nothing. It just was a bruise. And, he had full range of mobility and it's all good. But like, you just never know. I mean, the dude was just on the ground and like the customer's property, like reached out and bit him and like took him out. And we trip on stuff all the time, but it's like most of the time you catch yourself. That just so happened it didn't. But like if that's your employee and something on the customer's property is like faulty, it's not about like suing the customer or anything insane like that. It's like, being prepared for the worst. And like we work in an industry where guys are always posting pictures of like cutting themselves with pressure. I know a guy that's an industry vet, like he fell off a ladder and accidentally pulled the trigger with the gun pointed right at his leg and like gave himself like a real bad bruise. Luckily, I was on a job yesterday. The kid that was there with us, everybody's a kid that's younger than me. Sorry, no offense, but his boots were wet, so they needed to dry. And I since sent him the link to a boot dryer. If you didn't buy that boot dryer, James, it's on you. It's like $20. But anyway, I was like, here's a link to a boot dryer. We use it all the time. But like he ran a turbo tip across his shoe. It cut right through his shoe. It cut his sock, and it tore his foot up. Now, luckily, it did tear his foot up to the point where like he had to go to the doctor or anything. But like close. And so those are the things like it's a complete accident. Like no one was messing with him. He's in the middle of the parking lot. It just
Yeah.
happened. So like these are the things that you guys should think about. Like when you're like, oh, I don't know if I can work into my budget. It's like, watch that extra house. That's my personal take on it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I always advise everybody have health insurance. Obviously, I think health insurance is extremely important, but not everybody thinks health insurance is important. The thing is, you're never going to make money off of health insurance, but having it there can save you from potentially, God forbid, something happen one day. You have to sell the house or
or
sell your
losing your company.
exactly.
That's a insurance matters when you have something to lose. And like
Yep.
It just also will prevent you from, an exorbitant fee because like a $4,000 deductible is recoverable. Like that'll suck, but it's recoverable. $200,000 unexpectedly when you're trying to get your business off the ground is not recoverable, or you probably, I'm just gonna venture to say that 99% of the people that got $200,000 of disposable money are not starting a pressure washing company. Like you know what? It's possible. I'm not saying it's not, but like house is a good example, but like for our industry, I think that's a very valid point. Is like you don't want to, risk yourself. Now, again, hey, like we always say, like when you get started, general liability, commercial auto insurance, get started. Don't. I'm not saying you rack up another $250 bill like day one. But like once you get established and you're making money, it's the same thing. Like you upgrade your equipment, well, you should like upgrade your protection because you put commercial auto insurance, you put trailer insurance, you put equipment insurance, you have general liability insurance. It's like, well, all that stuff's insured and you got the money to pay for it. why not insure yourself? Like, because without you, none of that matters. Like, you're not going to work. And
what it's there have been a ton of studies that show the number one reason people don't usually leave their jobs is because of the benefits. They love the health insurance benefit that they get from their employers, and they know they can't find that price elsewhere. So if they won't leave their job because of that benefit, one of the main reasons they're accepting the job as well is because of that benefit. So it's an extremely important benefit to a lot of people to make sure that they have the benefit of health insurance through their employer as well.
absolutely. So I don't. I'm going to take the squarely on my shoulders. I didn't set up a giveaway with any of the vendors or do anything. Um, so I don't have anything to give away, and I'd already been talking about it or getting into it. So I apologize for everybody that Justin always likes to try and win the free giveaway, but that's on me. And I always, like I already knew going in, like a lot of industries are regulated by stuff, and it's like no one's gonna be like, hey, here's a free month of healthcare. Like that's just not a thing. It's not allowed. Like,
Yeah.
so I appreciate you taking the time to come on here. There's a couple of venues for people to get with you. You put your direct link where you can schedule in with somebody, and there's also the Facebook group and that people can go to and schedule everybody. Just give me a shirt, bro.
Real quick. I can't give away free healthcare or something like that, but I do have referral bonuses.
So there you go.
So if you send somebody my way and I'm able to help get them on an underwritten plan, I'm not going to say it on the live, but I do pay an undisclosed amount.
There you go. So have somebody, if they contact Chandler, have them mention your name.
Yes, absolutely.
Say so and so mention me, and then you should contact Chandler. Chandler's on Facebook. He's very easy to get a hold of, and I can tell you firsthand the way that Chandler and I met. I don't know if we added each other on Facebook as like a suggested friend. He said, "Hey, I'm in the healthcare industry. Are you interested?" And I said, "No, I'm good." And then later he asked me a question. It wasn't like a salesy thing. He was just like, it's a legit conversation. And he was like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" I was like, "Yeah, shoot." And then and I said, "Hey, this is just because I'm good and like my company's good. You know what? I was busy at that moment, but like let's engage. Let's do a live because I want the knowledge to be out there for people. Just because I'm good doesn't mean everybody's good. But also, like, it dawned on me. I'm like, man, I'm a dummy. Like, we should shop for health insurance. Just because we have it doesn't mean that we can't improve it or get a better, deal for the people that work for us. Because that is something that you should take time to investigate. Whether it's your employees, yourself, your family, their family, whatever you have, free beer giveaway. Yeah, Justin, I'm not Trudy, man. I don't have 800 shirts like that. She's a vendor. She's been watching for 17 years. Like, Trudy's the greatest of all time. I will get there. When I've been in 17 years, I'll just randomly give away shirts. How about that? That's fair. Is that if I can hit Trudy's level in 17 years, I'm allowed. I don't just come for the giveaways. Justin, I appreciate your participation. I was teasing about you always you winning the giveaways. You're here every single time we do a live. That's dedication because you're increasing your knowledge and you're supporting whoever's presenting because you ask questions, you engage, and they're good questions because I can't think of all the questions. One, I don't have a media background. I'm not a reporter. I'm just some dude that Nevin punked into doing interviews. So if you think of a question that didn't get asked in the live or you don't have time to ask the live, it's okay to directly contact Chandler and ask him questions. And like I said, 15 minutes to get you a price. That's faster than anything I've ever done. Like if you call Geico or Progressive or anybody, like you're on the phone for like a solid 37 minutes and then they want you to take a survey and you're like, I'd rather die.
And that 15 minutes, the only reason it's 15 minutes is because I tell you about the plan too. If we hop on the phone and you give me your information, you're talking anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes to get an actual quote.
Right. Goes in the system, bang. So,
absolutely.
Anything else, Chandler?
One thing, I would like to post my scheduler up there and then just my personal cell phone number so people can reach out to me personally. And those are the two avenues for people to reach me at and, get a quote or just insurance questions in general. The thing is, I'm not just here to sell insurance. I'm here to be a resource and to make sure people don't get sold. So even if you already have health insurance, but you have questions about your current plan and what it does and doesn't cover, get in contact with me. I'll have you send it over to me and I'll do a free policy review as well. I'm not just here to
Awesome.
sell.
Yeah, you'll help them out with understanding what they're actually getting, and say, hey, FYI, this might be a thing. So if you want to pop it up in private chat, I'll throw it up on the screen right now. Whatever you want me to put on the screen, put in private chat. I'll copy and paste it and throw it in the comments.
Awesome. Yeah, I sent you that the link to my scheduler. I sent you my personal cell phone number. This is the easiest way to contact me. Once again, that Facebook page, The Healthy Insurance Dude, only use that as a source of reviews to see how we treat people in the customer service and that we actually help people. But to get in direct contact with me, you'll see my scheduler, and then also, yep, just what Justin said. I love Justin already. This is only my
Right?
first.
No, he's very helpful. Like he's like my number one assistant on these things with links and stuff. Because like I have to switch pages because for some reason StreamYard won't let me post in here. Probably because I'm streaming to multiple locations, but I really appreciate everybody tuning in. And like I said, Chandler, I'm gonna put all of this information on the live that's gonna be on Facebook, and then I'll tag you in it so people can see that you're tagged and then click on that to message you. That's
Awesome.
another form. And then your phone number will be in there, your schedule will be in there, and a link to the Facebook group will be in there. All that information will be on the YouTube video too. Just wanted to try and like bring guys awareness to it that like the floor to break into this is maybe not as expensive as you're thinking. It's like, I think that a lot of people when they think about insurance are like, well, gosh, I don't have $500 to pay for myself, and it's like, well, it may not be $500. And like again, qualifying for these plans is a thing. Like you said, you've got to do a medical examination to like actually get the plan, right?
So it's not like life insurance where they come out and give you a physical and take your blood and urine. They do ask you a series of medical questions, and then they go and look at your medical records, but it's nothing too intense whatsoever. One other thing though, because I know as a business owner, as a 1099, the best part about having private insurance is usually the tax deductions that come along with it. So I know as a small business owner, at the end of the year, I take all the tax deductions that I can get.
Yep, absolutely. So just something to consider, and guys, just reach out, get some quotes, get some education on it. Like it's like price shopping. Like hey, it may surprise you. Like a lot of guys. Like I was talking to him about Frank Crum. They got into the industry. They're new as far as pressure washing. Like Frank Crum's been around, but like this could be the same thing for our industry. Is like Chandler reached out to me and said, hey, let's get this going. Once I said, hey, do you want to do a live, and he immediately was like, yeah, let's talk about it. So again, you guys know, like I'll come back and share my data, and be like, hey, this is my quote. Obviously everybody's is different, but like that's transparency. That's how you know. Like I tell people, like, hey, when you go get this insurance quote for soft washing or no, for pressure washing general liability, here's a range. Your range could be low or high. It's everybody's different, but like that's the stuff that leads people to understand I can afford this and I can make this happen. And then if I have like fall off the ladder and I'm wrecked, then my company's not going to go away. Like maybe my company's on hold for 6 months while I recover, but I didn't lose it because I'm paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for reconstructive surgery.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, last time, it's always going to be at the top of the video and it's going to be on the YouTube comments. We've got his number is 972-762-8049. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, Chandler, and answer all our questions. And like, I always appreciate when people come on here because like the questions are like all over the place, which is good because you get different
Yeah.
ones. But the guy was like, Keenan was like, credit, and we're both like, what? Like, but what?
When he reworded it, it made sense.
It made sense. It made sense, but it's like you always like the stuff that comes out of left field, and you're like, okay, and like I didn't know that there was credit at all. Like this is not my field. So anyway, guys, we're out. I appreciate all your time. I hope everybody has a good week.